thousands of stories like yours where you go away from it and then come back and you're like, oh, wow, it's like
a big difference.
It's like a different coffee. What I found is sometimes you forget how good your coffee is until you drink coffee that you think is bad. You have your setup at home and it tastes perfect. And you go, to family at Christmas, Thanksgiving, you're like, man, the coffee is terrible. It's like that adding salt onto your dish after you make it, right? Okay, it was good, but now it's great, right? We've been drinking coffee for like hundreds of years. And I think it brings people together. It wakes you up. I think people will keep being social, drinking coffee and enjoying coffee, at the homes.
We live right now. Actually, we're here at the Houston Coffee Expo, and we're doing something a little different. We're doing a little interview with Third Wave Water. I recently talked to them about their packages, came back to be rekindled with them.
Yeah.
And when you reached out to me, I was like, this is a great opportunity to just let my audience know the greatness of Third Wave Water.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, so I was in specialty coffee since 2008, had a cafe roastery, and spent a lot of money to make a real elaborate water filtration system. Most cafes do. They make this, it's like $5,000. But what I found is that didn't scale down to home use. So when you recommend someone at home, you don't say, oh, go buy this $5,000 system. So we tried to make basically all the minerals that you want. And if you start at a base of 0, distilled water, reverse osmosis, add it, you'll get that cafe quality experience. And I think you've probably gone to a cafe, you drink a coffee, and you're like, man, this is great. Yeah. You take it home, and then you're like, they switched coffee.
Yeah.
What is what is not the same thing.
Yeah.
So and turned out a lot of people had been struggling with that at home, getting their coffee. And people drink great coffee at home so much more than they did 10 years ago.
Yes.
So we've had success with that, and we have thousands of stories like yours where you go away from it and then come back and you're like, oh, wow, it's like
a big difference.
It's like a different coffee.
It is. It really is, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I try to tell people, trying to get them really back into it. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about more of that as we go along. But, I think that's sometimes a disconnect for some people because they don't realize that they have these good beans and they don't realize that the coffee can be even better.
Yeah.
Even to the extent to where, let's just say it doesn't do as much as they thought it would do, at least it lets you know that it's not so much of you, it's probably just that coffee, that style and everything.
Yeah, you want to have, you don't need to spend a ton of money. You want to have a decent grinder, nothing like a blade grinder, and have an okay coffee maker. And some places have good water and it might work well, but a lot of other places they don't. Or you travel, you have your setup at home and it tastes perfect. You go, to family at Christmas, Thanksgiving, you're like, man, the coffee is terrible. Yeah. What am I doing wrong? So it's just another one of those tools for people to get what they like and looking for. And as expensive as coffee is nowadays, right?
Yes. Yeah.
We don't be wasting.
One less thing to really worry about. And I guess one of my things, because I'm a coffee snob. Everybody here is a coffee snob, and we don't have an issue with paying for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How do you I guess go about it, or how is it a challenge to get to other coffee people who probably don't even know?
That's a great question. So one of the benefits, it costs a couple cents for it. Some of the other stuff we have, maybe it's less specialty and more mainstream. We have some profiles that are for low acid.
Yeah.
So like I made it for my dad. He would have heartburn and couldn't drink much coffee.
Yes.
And so this lowers the acidity 4 times. So he can drink 5-6 cups without having any heartburn.
Big time, yeah.
So which I would say is less specialty. It also helps protect your equipment. So you are gonna say you're like, man, I just got this $700 little home espresso machine, right? That's a lot of money. And with our minerals, you don't have to descale it. It won't scale up, right? And so we've all had. We have a coffee maker, and it's just slow and slow and slow, and it builds up scale.
Yes,
just like a shower head does. And so with our water, it helps kind of protect that. So, you get some benefit of the coffee tasting better, but you're not you're not ruining your
equipment.
So
You bring up a really good point there, because it's one of those things where people, like, we have our logs, we jot down what we're tasting in the coffee and everything, but nobody really takes into consideration like the build up, the scale, and they're not realizing that also takes effect of how the coffee is actually brewed.
absolutely.
And there's little less consistency if you don't have the water.
Yeah, it'll slowly change over time, and you may not notice it. And you're like, man, they used to brew this fast. Now it's taking a minute longer, and you're wondering why.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a coffee maker and that nozzle is just narrowed down,
Right.
now it's taking a bunch, a lot longer time. Like a washing machine, right? Your washing machine said, oh, it's 15 minutes left. Like, no, this is 45 minutes.
Right.
Because it's the filter's clogged up and it's not draining
Yeah.
as fast. So.
So true. So I like that. So it's almost like getting them, because I did another experiment about a week ago, and I used the exact same coffee, and I used all the packages, not all at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was really, even though it was more so like a subtle type of difference, I didn't notice how much it really affected or changed the coffee. And I think that's something that people don't realize, is that they can kind of, beyond the grind size, beyond the different temperatures and everything, they can actually manipulate the coffee in that way to where they can tailor it a little bit more.
Absolutely. It's that little last little. It's like that adding salt onto your
Yeah.
dish after you make it, right? It's that
Uh-huh.
little okay, it was good, but now it's great, right?
Right.
And so, like we have a dark roast profile. So my parents would use like a low acid or dark roast. They use K-cups.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with the dark roast, they don't want acidity. They want chocolate caramel flavor.
yeah.
So it's just like, hey, how can we help move that flavor profile a little to what they think is good coffee,
Mhm.
right? We try not to tell people that, oh, you're wrong, this is not good coffee. Like, so
Right.
we want them to be able to enjoy coffee how they like to enjoy it, and try to make products, for all those different palates.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. Yeah, because I am more of a medium to dark roast person. Sometimes I'll delve into the light roast from time to time. But like you said, it gives you that opportunity to manipulate your coffee a little bit more
Yeah.
to your liking.
Yeah, and so we'll find it on a dark roast. If you use our light roast, you might taste a little ashy.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's not good. But all of a sudden, the dark roast, and it's like it goes away.
Yes.
Yeah, and so and it's like, and it's just so much more pleasant. And once you're used to it, it's like, this is my coffee taste. And yeah.
So what do you say? Because like, again, I'm trying to kind of get to the everyday type of coffee drinker. And again, I'm not even my market. I'm not even my market. However, I have 4 jugs of the still water. They have their own different things. How would you tell somebody to approach third wave water? Do they just need to go ahead and buy all the packages?
So we do have on our website, I think, a light, medium, dark 3-pack that you can buy.
Yeah.
But also, I would say, if you want the coffee to have fruit flavors, and you usually do lighter, do light roast. If you like, and you use the words bold,
Right.
and you use the words, dark, I would try that dark roast.
Dark roast, yeah.
And then if you find that, that dark roast and it's just maybe a little too bold, and you want to dial it down, maybe the medium, or if you have the light roast and you're like, man, it's a little too sour,
Yeah.
the medium might just be enough to change it.
I see. So it's more so like I think that's what I'll also start doing, especially on my channel, is like letting people know, it's like, hey guys, you can play around with it. You don't have to be so tailored to the situation. If you like light roast, go with the light roast.
And we find we do tests all the time where it's like, man, this coffee tastes better with medium. This coffee tastes better with light. And it might be marginally, and it's not always a consensus of everybody. Taste is really personal, right? And so it's like, once you find your jam, like, don't be embarrassed about it.
Don't be embarrassed about it. Yeah, exactly.
Do it. Yeah.
I think I was telling some people about that too at the expo. They were asking me some opinions about just the journey in general. I was like, you like what you like.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you don't try other things, but it's okay to tell people what you like.
Yeah. Well, and then you think about it. If everyone liked what I liked, it would make it a lot more expensive. I mean, there wouldn't be a whole lot of good, light roast coffees left. So I'm glad that there's a spectrum of coffee drinkers. Some people like, so if I'm somewhere and there's a darker roast coffee that I can get, I enjoy putting a little cream in it.
Yeah,
because cream
exactly, yeah.
works really well with dark roast coffee.
It does.
It doesn't work well with light roast.
It
coffee.
doesn't.
Some of it will even curdle the cream.
Yeah.
And you're like, and so it's like, you're just. I also think it's fun to go and try coffees that other. So if somebody else really enjoys something, there's something about the hospitality and being around people.
Yeah.
I want to drink
Yeah.
it, and even I don't prefer it, but I can experience that with them and appreciate it. So. Not so dogmatically where I only drink this or I don't drink anything.
Right.
Right.
You can enjoy it with them while you guys are doing something totally different too.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. And then you go back to what you like or are comfortable with. And what I found is sometimes you forget how good your coffee is until you drink coffee that you think is bad.
Yeah.
Right. So you almost get spoiled. And you used
exactly. It's so true.
Yeah,
so
it's like
true.
getting used to the air conditioning. And then all of a sudden you get on the hot, you're like, man, I got soft. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So very true. That's what I was thinking for the longest. I felt something was wrong with my coffee until I rekindled back again with third rate water. And I'm like, wow, I'm tasting things that I haven't tasted in a very long time. And I think that's the beauty of having, because there are other companies also out that have like this, this. And I think that's good, but sometimes that overcomplicates things.
It does. And our product is $17. So if you're experimenting, there's some coffee grinders that get into hundreds of dollars.
Yes.
So if you think you're like, I got to go spend $500, like, try something a little cheaper.
Right.
First as a change.
Uh-huh.
If you still want to keep experimenting, but you can spend a lot of money real quick.
Yeah.
As you go around the show and see.
Yes.
So, and if you want to, you do it.
You can, but now I think the best part about understanding third wave water even more so is that how much it does give you more of appreciation for the coffee that you're drinking, experience it for what it is, and then it gives you that opportunity to keep going down that rabbit hole, but in a nice, gentler way. Because, for instance, I bought the 4 packages. I bought the low acid, I bought the light, medium, and dark. I don't really do much cold brew.
Yeah.
I'm sure it does probably makes it even more mellow and chocolatey and all that stuff. But I guess the biggest thing right now is that I bought these packages back in January, I believe.
Yeah.
I probably still have about 4 to 5 packages in each of them. So as much as it seemed that it does go quickly, it really doesn't. It really gives you that opportunity.
It doesn't expire.
That's
right. So I mean, it's got old minerals in it, and they're gonna last a while. And the only way to know if it's worth it is to try it.
Try it, yeah.
And then if you go back to your old stuff and you're like, you know what, I like it just as much, or it's not worth it, and then But sometimes what I found too is if say you're using your tap water, it'll change during the year. So you get more rain, right? Sometimes they put a lot more chemicals in.
Yeah.
Or if you move, obviously, or traveling. So it's just one thing you always keep in the back of your mind of like, oh, maybe let's check the water again.
Right. Yeah. But I guess in this case, we don't really have to.
Yeah. That's a goal. Yeah. It's always good. You get distilled water, and then you get groceries delivered, or you pick stuff up. You're already picking up some laundry detergent and some other jugs of milk, and you grab a jug of water,
right?
And then you kind of have your routine. You're set.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a kind of interesting question to ask. So your name is Third Wave Water.
Yes.
Right? And we are in 2025. And I guess what I'm about to ask is like, what do you think the state of, I guess, coffee, but also water in general? Because at the end of the day, it's one of those things to where now we have different processes of the way farmers and what we get as coffee roasters coming in. We get different type of profiles of those coffees and the way we roast it and then brew it. And now do you feel that it's still third wave, or where is third wave water going with all the different changes? that
Yeah,
we're dealing with?
we're always trying to make products that people want, right? And meet customers where they are. I think coffee is cyclical. It's like a few years ago, specialty coffee was all light roast, light roast, light roast.
Right,
Some of them were way too light,
right.
but but 30 years ago, it was dark roast, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was Kenya Double A, it was Sumatra. But what I see is a lot of that's coming back.
Yeah,
And people are appreciating. So I think as we age, our palate changes. Right?
Yeah,
When you're
yeah,
little,
yeah,
you
yeah.
like Skittles, Sour Patch Kids.
right.
And you still like those, but not as much, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of like some bitter flavors and some.
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
so I think as we age, kind of like our tastes change, and so you have this specialty crowd that might go from light, medium. There now as they age, they're doing more dark roast.
Yeah,
I think you'll have. It'll be interesting if the young kids are they only doing Dunkin' sugar
Right.
bombs. Yeah, I think people are with coffee getting more expensive, and coffee is almost it's something you need like gas, right?
right.
And so it's like if it is getting more expensive, and you'll end up going some cheaper options, and if you can get a cheaper option that tastes almost just as good,
Right.
then it might be worth it. So yeah, that's if we can make people's coffee a little bit better, make it you're not throwing out as much, make that you're not throwing out your equipment as much,
Yeah.
right? Then
So it's almost like they're saving money.
yeah. I mean, you can depend on how expensive your.
Right.
We have some customers with $5,000 home espresso machines,
course,
right?
yeah.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money,
That's,
yeah.
that's how much my first car cost.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So you get that, and if you have really bad water, they can break it in a year. So
Right.
so those cases, but no, it is for just doing drip coffee is definitely an expense, right? I'm not going to say it saves you money, but if you like it, right? We have stuff that we like, if you're like, man, you like, something like washing detergent, like the name brand stuff just washes better, right?
Right,
And you're
right.
like, I like the smell, and I feel like my clothes are cleaner.
Makes a big difference,
Yeah,
yeah.
Than like the cheap powder. Like you're willing on those things to get something a little nicer to treat yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
You say that because I will eventually do a post about that. But the whole thing about having nice stuff, and people don't realize, especially with the way that you guys have created the formula and everything, how it doesn't scale or anything. It gives you more so like a pride, right?
Yeah.
In your equipment, and that that it's going to last a lot longer compared to you not, I guess, lack of better word, giving a shit.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up, like many other people with not much, right? You grow up poor.
Yeah.
You learn being good at being poor, and it's
Yeah.
If you want nice things, you might have to fix it yourself or take care of it, right? But yes, there is some pride about having a washing machine. Mine at home, I've kept going for 15 years, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I fix it myself, and you can't keep it going, and you do that, and you take a little pride in it, and a little more thoughtfulness into it, right? And I think it's an enjoyable way to live life.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So with that being said, I don't want to keep you too long. I appreciate this. It's a podcast, but it's a talk.
Yeah. No, it's
And,
fun meeting new people and seeing where they are on coffee, and coffee's a real small world.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost interesting because like coming to this event, you realize that, and this is not everybody who cares about coffee, but seeing all these people here is like, wow, this is something that will go on as long as we can make it go on.
Yeah, we've been drinking coffee for like hundreds of years, and I think it brings people together. It wakes you up,
Yeah.
right? I think people will keep being social,
Yes.
drinking coffee, and enjoying coffee, at the homes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome. Wait,
Cool.
thanks.
Cool.
Good, a good
Appreciate
time.
it.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we've had a great time in Houston. I went to the pit room twice for barbecue.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Nice.
it was real good.
Do you do barbecue too sometimes?
Yeah, absolutely.
nice.
Absolutely. So,
Same here.
yeah. And I'm glad you guys have sauce too. So like,
Hey,
yeah, I'm not.
it's just
I'm
the
not
same
a
thing.
dry barbecue.
It's the same thing with coffee, right?
Yeah.
Just give people what they want,
Yeah,
and it's all about people, right?
yeah, absolutely.
So I truly appreciate this interview and this talk, and I'm looking forward to what comes next.
Yeah, and if anyone has questions on water, they can reach out to Third Way Water.
Okay, yeah.
And we can try to answer it.
Okay. And I'll put some links in the bio
Awesome.
and everything.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sweet.
All right.
Hey,
cool.
thanks again.